Hey guys, Mike here. So I'm going to talk about an important date in this video and an important time period we need to think about here, because obviously, the market has been moving up. A lot of people have questions, why is the market moving up when everything across the board just seems horrible with inflation, rates going up, Fed's going to start doing, monetary tightening, which has never been a good thing for the economy or anything, and, other things going on with Russia and oil prices and all that stuff. And so I'm going to talk about, a certain time period, a date, and why the market is moving up and why it just might continue moving up. Okay, and I'm going to show you the charts so you can see it yourself. I'm not just making it up, and all the data that entails. And so, before we get into that, don't forget, Webull's giving out 5 free stocks for people who open a new account and fund it with any amount of money. The 2 free stocks you get for opening the account are valued anywhere from $300 to $300. The deposit bonus stocks, you get 3 of those, each valued between $7,000 and $3,000. And that'll be ending pretty soon at the end of March. Make sure you take advantage of that and hit the like, subscribe button on notifications all if you get anything out of this video. Now, so let's go ahead and get into, what is coming up for us starting next week that we need to understand and know about and see if we got something to look forward to. And so March and April have been historically really good months in the stock market, and especially April, which is what we got coming up right next week. It'll start. And if you look at S&P monthly returns here since 1950, you see it was nice. The past 20 years it's even better. And then past 10 years is even better. The problem we have here is we're in midterm, right? Midterm election year. Look what happens during midterms in April, okay? And so that's the kind of the X factor we can't predict. And if you're into the Dow Jones type stocks, which a lot of people are right now, you can see April is the best month for the Dow historically from 1975 all the way going through 2020. And moving back to the S&P, one thing to keep in mind for the S&P, and it's kind of really for the NASDAQ as well, the strongest part of April is the first 17 days, right? You go through the first 17 days and it kind of flattens out and then starts to sell off. And if you can guess why that is, please let me know. I'll end up telling you, but just put in the comments, why do you think the second half of April is not usually as good as the first 17 days? And I went ahead and went back to every single year on the chart from 2010 to 2021. You can see right here, guys. The yellow ones, that's the negative, right? You only got 3 negative years. I didn't count 2020 because we were coming out of that huge crash, so it was a great month. And so if you do count 2020, you got basically a 73% chance, I believe it is, that we're going to have a positive month in the QQQ, the S&P, and the Dow coming up, okay? And so you can see some of those are really nice moves, by the way. In 2019, 3.8%, 2021, 4.4%. And so the data backs this up, right, of why the market might be moving up now and why it might continue to move up. Again, the X factor is, yes, we're in midterm election years, and so things kind of go awry sometimes. It does happen. And so we have to be going through a whole lot of the stuff that we weren't going through in these other years as well. But, it's not a coincidence, and I'm going to show you basically the reasons why the market's moving up now and just why you might see money still continue to flow into this market, as well as a certain date to look out for, especially if you're into crypto. And so if you just look at what the NASDAQ, the SPY, and the Russell have been doing over here since the 15th of March when it made that turn, the Russell's up 7%, the S&P's up 8%, and then the NASDAQ's up a whopping almost 13% after the big move today. And crypto likes to move with the market too, and you can see, it started making this move about the same time. You got ADA that is up 46%, Litecoin's up 23%, Ethereum's up 20%, AVAX up 19%, Bitcoin's up 12%, Atom's struggling at 4%, and many others that are up double digits right now. And the one reason you're seeing this, and this is no coincidence, look what's been happening to the bond market in March. It is selling off. These are government bonds there, and here's corporate bonds. Same thing, selling off. That's why you see these rates going up now. And so that's why you see a lot of people really curious go, I don't understand why risky assets like, high growth stocks are going up, because the yields are going up, right? We're always told if yields go up, that's bad for high growth stock stuff because it costs more for them to get their debt, blah, blah, blah. But they're skyrocketing, right? Well, because it's simple, there's no other game in town, right? You see right there what happened in bonds. The bond market is way bigger, I've showed you this before, than the stock market, right? And so they just been selling off, steadily selling off, right? Corporate and government bonds. And don't forget, who stopped buying a bunch of bonds every month? Old Jerome Powell and all his buddies did, right? About 2 weeks ago, and nobody's filled that void, okay? And so, unfortunately, the yields aren't high enough yet. And so, people are flowing out of there, and what's going on? It is no coincidence. All of a sudden, you see crypto going up, especially some of those altcoins. And then you got the stock market, risky assets, the NASDAQ, heading up. right? Everybody's flowing back into the FANG stocks again, right? They had cancer a month ago. Now all of a sudden, oh, this is great. We love companies that don't make any money, and these high growth stocks have no profits, no income. Some of them, yeah, we'll push them up, and all of a sudden they're popular again. When they were on death's door a month ago, they're saying, "Don't touch them, don't touch them," right? And so that's what you see, and we're going to see. The bond market is another X factor, which is how long are those people going to keep selling those bonds and not buying into it? Because eventually the yields will get high enough to where those are attractive investments, right? And then you'll see cryptos start selling off, stocks start selling off because they got to rotate back into the bond markets. Now it is, to basically hedge their portfolio, it is more attractive, right? But the problem is with inflation being so high right now, and even with Jerome, them saying it's going to be almost 5%, that's their projection, which means it's going to be higher because they've been way off of their projections come year in. It just don't make any sense to be in the bonds right now. The yields aren't high enough. But there might come a time through the year those yields just keep going up, right? And they say, okay, yeah, it's worth it. We'll go into the 2-year, the 5-year, whatever, and start buying in there. Well, that money has to come somewhere, so it's going to come from the stock market and the crypto market. We don't know when that's going to happen. I also feel like, and let me know what you think about this, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything, because I've had this happen to a family member before, but, if I went to the doctor, or say yourself, ask yourself this question, but if I went to the doctor and God forbid I was diagnosed with some disease and he said you have 6 months to live, do you really think I'm going to live my life like I'm living it right now and go to work every day and do this and cook dinner and blah, blah, and all that stuff I was putting off, I'm not going to do? Heck no. I'll do some normal stuff. But no, I got 6 months to do a whole lot of living, right? Because the party's going to be over in 6 months. I feel like the market is almost doing that. I feel like, and I say the market, I mean institutions are saying, we've seen this movie before. We know what happens, especially if the Fed does reach 1.9% by year end and start selling their bonds too. And all this liquidity massive amounts of liquidity are gone from the market. And remember, the stock market hasn't supported itself in a long time without government intervention. And I say government intervention, I mean either stimulus checks or the Fed's buying up bonds and mortgage-backed securities, or the interest rates are being lowered or put to zero. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, and it's been a long time. I don't even know the date, honestly, when they've actually done it on their own. It's been a long time. And so I kind of feel like they're like, there's so much uncertainty on that. Like, will the market hold up? Let's go ahead and get our stuff now. Let's get this, right? And so we'll see. Again, you got the bond market as an X factor, midterms are an X factor, whatever that's going to play into it. But right now the data says, March and April, March has been pretty good. April's been pretty good historically. But the other thing to watch out for too, where this coincide is April 1st. For whatever reason, April has been a good month for Bitcoin in particular and other cryptos, if you want to look those up as well. But if you look at this chart right here, now you can see right here, starting in 2016, right? There's April 1st. And we end up going on this huge run, 60% in a very short amount of time, then that gigantic run. Then you go to 2017, April 1st, it moves up 167% in 2.5 months. 2018, 45% in 35 days. Now you go 2019, massive run started there. You'll get 231% in just less than 3 months. Then you get 2020, obviously, huge run, 91% in 138 days. And this one, we already had the massive run, and then it went up like 8% in 14 days. But you'd already had like hundreds of percents at this point in time. I think that's why. But you look now, we've come to this massive sell-off right here, right? Way down. And then we've just been consolidating, between like around 40,000 to 44,000, just consolidating back and forth. And of course, as Bitcoin goes, the rest of the crypto market goes as well. So you could see that happen and take place. We'll see. I showed you some, going back to 2016, April seems to kick off something for it. Obviously, I know we're in different times right now, and I get that. But again, you saw in 2021, we're not in this massive run up right now, right? We've had a massive run down and just consolidation. Well, it feels like forever, to be honest with you, but it hadn't been. But it's been some months now, right? And so you could see that big move up, either Bitcoin, altcoins, and then of course it usually correlates with the stock market a lot of times. So the stock market may continue to go up, right? And if we say all-time new highs, I always said this in another video, would I be shocked? No. I would not be shocked at all because I don't put anything past the institutions and what they're doing. Another thing I was reading too, was really driving this, is options, right? There are so many more call options now than there were put options. It's crazy. And so, retail is starting to come back in. You can tell that because look at what's happening with meme stocks all of a sudden. I haven't heard about some of these meme stocks in a long time, but all of a sudden they're getting a lot of play on other channels and out there in the news and stuff. And so, you know, people are starting to say, okay, I think this might be real. We'll see. Understand, though, as I sent out to the members this morning, we're at major resistance come tomorrow. I think the NASDAQ has to get above its 100-day moving average or just hit it, where it's right below it. And then you'll have, I want to say off the top of my head, I'm going to go like 350 on the QQQ, no, it's 360 on the QQQ, 450 on the SPY, I believe. And that's just off the top of my head. I might get them reversed. But, you know, there's major resistance coming up to try to break through. And so you could see a rejection, plus it's Friday. I mean, a lot of times on Friday we sell off, but we'll see. And so, but for the next week, the next 3 to 4 weeks, well, you know, we should move up. I mean, honestly, you know, it's just the way it is according to the data. I just go off data. We'll see if that happens or not. Let me know in the comments what you think, you know, but I just, like I said, I kind of feel like institutions are like, man, we got to party while we can, right? Because pretty soon the music's going to stop for a while. And so we'll see how it goes, because they're the ones that drive, you know, the stock market and the crypto market and everything. So, and we'll see. So anyway, if you're a bond person, by the way, let me know in the comments, like, how high do the yields have to get for you to feel comfortable going to bonds? And, you know, if we can get some people that are into bonds, which I'm not, then, you know, that'll kind of tell us, maybe give us a time frame when we start seeing those things down the road. So, okay, this is when they might start flowing out and flowing back into bonds. And so, if you got anything out of it, I appreciate it, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button as always, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.